You're not doing enough is what a lot of people will tell you, and honestly, you're not. And like what I mean by that is not like in terms of like, actually working harder, putting in the reps, putting in the actual work. It's about being grateful for what you already have. There's this chart that I've seen circulated a lot throughout the internet. It lists like different emotions of, anger, hopelessness, sadness, happiness, pride, all these different emotions and like their frequencies, meaning like how like important they are for us as humans. And the number one emotion is gratitude. Now, for the longest time, I've always been like a positive type of person, right? Like, I've always had all my friends tell me, man, like, I don't know where you get your mindset from. It's great. And honestly, I'm just going to give you an example of like what that's like today. So I woke up today, a few days ago. I ordered a camera, and that camera didn't really come in, right? Like they knocked on my door. They wanted to deliver the camera to me, but I wasn't home. So they sent it like 30 minutes, like an hour away to this like facility. Now, obviously, like this is a pain in the ass if you've ever gotten a delivery before. Having to go out of your way instead of having it delivered straight to your door. So yeah, so first thing in the morning, I was like, you know what? Let me just like skip breakfast today. Let me do this and then I'll go get breakfast. Yeah, so I was going to this facility. It was around 30 minutes away. I was biking there. There were ups, there was downs. My quads were like absolutely burning. And I was just extremely like exhausted, right? Because mind you, I didn't have any breakfast. I only had like a coffee and then I went straight to it. And it was like an hour of like total biking. And I met this lady and she gave me the package. It was all good. And then I was trying to, fit the box inside of my bag. Now, my bag's pretty small. It doesn't usually fit a lot of things. So I was like, I was really struggling. I think I stayed there for like 10, 15 minutes trying to put it inside. And then, obviously, like took it out of the box. I put it in. I crumpled the box and I also put it in my bag. And like, it was still like another like 5, 10 minutes of trying to do that. So in total, I spent 20 minutes there on top of the hour that I went out of my way to go get that package. On top of it being first thing in the morning, and it sounds like I'm complaining right now, but that's really not what was going on in my head. Like, I wasn't even thinking that when I was actually doing it, right? You know what, like, I'm getting my exercise in, I'm delaying breakfast, and like, I'm cutting, right? So it's like if I delay breakfast, then I eat later and I'm not as hungry throughout the day because I already ate so late. So I was like in this extremely like positive like way of thinking of like all these things that are kind of happening to me, like God put them into my life, right? And on top of all of this, I was like, you know what? Like, even if we take out the fact that, this is going to help me like get shredded, even if we take out the fact that this is like great exercise, even if we take out the fact that this is going to help me with my business, the fourth thing is like, I was just thinking like, I'm just the type of person that would do this. I'm like the type of guy that would go out of his way to just, put in the work, put in the reps. And that speaks a lot about my character. And like throughout the entire experience, that's exactly what was going on through my mind. Like I was extremely positive about it. And that's when I realized, like, I went home and, I got the camera. Obviously, everything was fine. And as soon as I got back home, everything was fine. I got the camera, I got everything. I just checked my phone like I usually do. And I kid you not, my friend sent me this. Maybe the answer is perspective. When I read that, I was like, yeah, bro, like this is literally like, God. This is literally all God, right? Because it's like, out of all these days, this is the one day that I go through all that. This is the one day that I think about all of these positive things that happened to me when otherwise it would have all been negative. This is the one day where, like, like I've just been extremely grateful. Because the thing is, I know a lot of you are like people who are like, success driven. Like, a lot of you guys like work hard. A lot of you guys do things with your life. And the thing is, right, is like if you're not grateful for like where you're at currently, you will never get to that point of like ultimate success. Because here's the thing, as humans, we are reward seeking creatures. Like if we get rewarded for something, we're going to do it more. So why would we rely on the outside world to reward us for things instead of relying on ourselves? Let's just say you woke up one day and like, like you saw the sky, it was beautiful. You woke up with all your health. You woke up with like your family. You woke up with like a meal to eat. You woke up with like enough money in your bank account. Like, you have to be grateful for that, because if you're not grateful for that, like, you're just not ever going to be fulfilled. And fulfillment is the ultimate thing we as human beings need to crave. Because I'm going to tell you one thing, a lot of these people who like seek success, seek these things, are never actually fulfilled by it. They're only fulfilled by what other people say. But they can only get so far doing that. You know what I mean? Like, the ultimate people who get the furthest in life are the people who work hard and are grateful for what they've worked up to, they're grateful for it, but they don't stop. So there's a difference between being grateful and saying, like, you know, this is enough. Because you can be grateful for something without actually being like, yeah, this is like all I'm capable of. This is like all I'll ever get to. Because that's pessimism. That's not what we're trying to get to. So like I've told you like how like great it is to just always be grateful, to just always be happy, to just always be like, you know, like appreciative of what life is and like what you're currently experiencing right now. But a lot of people are going to ask me like, you know, how do I do that? Like how do I actually like, you know, put that into practice? How do I actually become more grateful? And that's the awesome question, because my own friend is like struggling with this thing right now. And so the advice I'm going to give to you is the same exact advice that I give to my friend. And that's the same friend that sent me that quote saying maybe the answer is perspective. And so the advice I gave him was you just have to take moments of struggle and you want to flip that around. And the more you do that, the more your brain will just get numb to the idea that struggle isn't actually struggle, it's enjoyment. And if I had to say exactly where I learned this, it's in the gym, right? So when I'm lifting extremely heavy weight, when I'm doing drop sets, when I'm sweating, when I'm cramping, when I feel like I'm about to fail, I smile. Like I'm literally the only person in the gym who's just smiling like a maniac while pushing insane amounts of weight for insane amount of sets, for insane amount of reps. And everyone's looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? But I'm smiling, I'm enjoying it. You know, like you have no idea how much power your smile actually holds. When you smile, what that does is it tells your brain that you're enjoying it. I kid you not, like it tells your brain that you're enjoying it. So what I want you to do is when you're going through hardship, when you're going through moments of hardness, what I want you to do is I want you to smile, just smile and think, I'm just gonna be such a fucking strong person after this. This is gonna make me such a strong person. This is gonna give me so much perseverance. Imagine everyone else who's not doing this. Imagine everyone else who's not in this situation. Imagine everyone else who's just comfortable right now. I want you to think that. And so when you think that, the more and more you think that, the more and more you'll be able to be in these phases of just being grateful, of just achieving more in life, feeling more fulfilled, being happier. Because at the end of the day, that's all what we truly desire. We truly desire happiness. We truly desire fulfillment. Sure, we might desire money, but the thing is if we have money and we're not happy, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know how many times like you've just gotten like a paycheck or like a substantial amount of money, and it's just like you didn't feel anything, right? That's because you weren't grateful. Like you weren't grateful for the money. You weren't grateful for the work that you put in. You weren't grateful for like the things you had to go through to get that money. You weren't grateful, you know? And so I think everyone would benefit from gratefulness. And I think especially you, if you're watching this video, it was meant to find you. Be happier, be more fulfilled. Enjoy your life, man. You only get one life. But yeah, make sure to like and comment on this video and subscribe. If you subscribe, you're gonna see a lot more of my content, and I'm just gonna change your life. I promise you. And just make you more fulfilled, more successful, a happier human being. And with that, take care.